Life will break you. It will strip you bare. It will take the things you love, shatter your plans, and laugh at your expectations. You will face betrayal from friends, heartbreak from lovers, and disappointment from the very people you trusted most. Your body will grow old. Your strength will fade. And one day, no matter how hard you fight it, death will come for you. And here's the brutal truth. The world does not care. The universe has no sympathy for your pain. Fortune will raise you up one moment and then destroy you the next. Nature is indifferent. Fate is merciless. Time is undefeated. Most people run from this truth. They hide behind distractions, drown themselves in comfort, and beg for a life that is easy, fair, and painless. But the Stoics did the opposite. They stared reality in the face and said, "Do your worst." Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man in the world, watched his children die, fought endless wars, and endured betrayal by those closest to him. And still, he reminded himself daily, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Epictetus was born a slave, beaten until his leg was crippled forever, and yet he declared, "You may fetter my leg, but my mind, not even Zeus himself can overpower." Seneca, once at the height of power and influence, was exiled, betrayed, and finally ordered to take his own life. And he did so calmly, writing that death was not an evil. It was simply part of the natural order. These men understood something we forget. Life is not meant to be easy. It is not meant to be fair. It is meant to forge you. The challenges you face are not punishments, they are training. The pain you endure is not a curse, it is a teacher. And the losses you suffer are not the end. They are reminders of how little truly belongs to you. This is the heart of Stoicism, to accept the world exactly as it is, without illusion, and to become stronger because of it. And that is why, centuries later, when we are beaten down by life, we still turn back to their words, because they did not give us comforting lies, they gave us brutal truths, truths that free us from weakness and show us how to endure. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 12 brutal Stoic truths about life's challenges. They are harsh, they are uncomfortable, they will force you to confront the parts of yourself you've been avoiding. But if you accept them, not just with your mind, but with your soul, then nothing in this world will ever break you again. The sooner you accept this truth, the stronger you will become. Life is not a courtroom. The universe is not a judge. There are no scales balancing your good deeds against your suffering. The world is a storm, random, merciless, indifferent. And if you walk into that storm expecting justice, you will be crushed. Marcus Aurelius lost his wife, lost several of his children, and spent years leading Rome through plagues and endless wars. Do you think he believed life would reward him just because he was virtuous? He knew better. He wrote in his journal not about the fairness of events, but about how he could carry himself with honor when events were cruel. Epictetus, born into slavery, had every reason to demand fairness from the world. But he did not. He said plainly, "Some things are within our control, and others are not." Life's fairness was never his concern. His concern was mastering his own mind. Even chained, even beaten, even mocked, he found a freedom greater than his masters could ever touch. Seneca, betrayed by the emperor he once advised, was ordered to take his own life. Did he rage at the injustice? Did he cry out against the cruelty of fate? He accepted it calmly, reminding himself that death is not an evil, but simply a part of nature. The brutal truth is this: you will face pain you do not deserve, you will suffer losses that feel unbearably unjust, and you will watch others receive blessings they never earned. If you cling to the idea that life owes you balance, you will drown in bitterness. The Stoic does not cling. He does not beg. He does not cry out for fairness from an indifferent universe. He builds himself into something stronger. He learns to treat misfortune as training, injustice as an opportunity to display virtue, and loss as a reminder of what was never truly his. Stop waiting for life to treat you fairly. Stop demanding that reality fit your expectations. Accept the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. Because once you abandon the illusion of fairness, nothing can shake you. You will walk through the storm calm, unbroken, and untouchable. Seneca warned that luxury is the enemy of strength. The more you surround yourself with ease, the softer you become. Comfort is seductive. It lulls you into a false sense of safety. But beneath that softness, it robs you of resilience, discipline, and power. Look at history. No great man was forged in comfort. Marcus Aurelius spent his reign not in peace, but on the battlefield, sleeping in tents, eating with soldiers, enduring the cold and mud of war. And it was there, in discomfort, that his philosophy became real. He didn't just write words in a palace, he lived them in hardship. Epictetus, who knew poverty and chains better than most, taught his students to prepare for loss and deprivation, to eat coarse bread, to wear simple clothes, to practice being content with less. Why? Because the man who cannot endure discomfort is not free. He is a slave to circumstance, destroyed the moment fortune turns against him. Seneca practiced the same. Though he was wealthy, he would deliberately live for stretches of time in poverty, wearing rough clothing, eating the cheapest food, so that when misfortune struck, he would not tremble. He had already faced the worst that simplicity could offer, and he knew he could endure it. And here's the truth. Every time you choose ease over effort, every time you choose distraction over discipline, every time you chase pleasure instead of purpose, you give away a piece of your strength. The body becomes soft, the mind becomes fragile, the spirit becomes unprepared. Comfort does not make you happy, it makes you dependent, it makes you restless, anxious, and weak. But struggle, though it burns, makes you alive. The fire of discomfort forges character. The man who trains himself to endure hardship can walk through life untouchable, while the man who craves comfort collapses at the first sign of pain. So do not pray for an easy life. Pray for the strength to withstand a hard one. Do not run toward comfort. It will betray you. Run toward challenge, because only there will you find the strength the Stoics lived and died by. Your problems feel enormous to you, but to the world they are invisible. Most of the people you worry about impressing, most of the people you're afraid of disappointing, most of the people you think are watching you, they aren't. They are too busy thinking about themselves. Epictetus told his students not to waste time explaining themselves to others. He said, "Don't explain your philosophy. Embody it." Why? Because people aren't listening as closely as you think. They're not scrutinizing every step you take. They don't care about your excuses. They care about results. The truth is, you are not the center of anyone's universe but your own. When you fail, people may laugh for a moment, but soon they return to worrying about their own failures. When you succeed, they may applaud for a day, but by tomorrow they are back to chasing their own desires. This realization can feel cold, but it is also liberating. Because once you stop living as if the world is watching, you can finally live for yourself. You can stop pretending, stop performing, and start focusing on what truly matters: your character, your discipline, your virtue. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "Soon you will have forgotten all things, and all things will have forgotten you." This was not despair, it was freedom. If the world will forget you, then why spend your life chasing its approval? If your name will fade, why not live in truth while you still breathe? No one cares as much as you think. They don't care about your mistakes. They don't care about your embarrassment. And they certainly don't care about your excuses. This is good news, because it means you are free. Free to walk your path. Free to live by principle. Free to become strong, not for applause, but for yourself. So stop wasting energy wondering what others think of you. Most of the time, they aren't thinking of you at all. Not success, not happiness, not love, not even tomorrow. The Stoics were clear on this. Everything you have is either earned through your effort or granted for a fleeting moment by fortune. But nothing, absolutely nothing, is guaranteed. The moment you believe you are owed something by the world, you have already set yourself up for disappointment and despair. Seneca wrote that fortune is like a loan. Everything you enjoy, your health, your wealth, your relationships, is borrowed, not owned. At any moment, fortune can come knocking to reclaim what was never truly yours. And when that happens, the man who feels entitled collapses. The man who accepts reality stands firm. Look at your own life. Did you choose to be born? Did you earn the sunrise this morning? Did you deserve the breath in your lungs right now? Number. These were gifts, not wages. And if life itself is a gift, then how could you ever demand that it be free of pain, loss, or hardship? Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. He knew he was not entitled to another day, let alone another decade. That knowledge made him grateful, and gratitude made him strong. The problem today is that people believe they deserve things just for existing. They believe the world owes them comfort, recognition, happiness. But entitlement is a poison. It makes you fragile. It makes you bitter. It makes you weak. Because the moment life does not deliver what you think you deserve, you crumble. The Stoic knows he deserves nothing, and in that knowledge, he is free. When success comes, he accepts it with humility. When failure comes, he endures it with courage. When love comes, he treasures it. And when loss comes, he lets it go. Because none of it was ever promised. You are entitled to nothing. And that is not a curse. It is liberation. Because once you stop demanding from life, you can finally begin living it. Every human life, no matter how wealthy, no matter how powerful, no matter how protected, will know suffering. There is no escaping it. You will feel pain in your body, pain in your mind, pain in your heart. The question is not if. The question is how you will face it. The Stoics did not waste time wishing pain away. They saw it as part of the natural order, as inseparable from life as the rising of the sun. Musonius Rufus taught that hardship is the school of virtue. Just as fire tests gold, pain tests the strength of the soul. Without trials, your courage remains unproven, your resilience unsharpened, your wisdom incomplete. Think of Epictetus, crippled by his master's blows. He did not cry out, "Why me?" He did not curse fate for cruelty. Instead, he asked, "What is in my power? How can I carry this with dignity?" And in doing so, he turned pain into proof of his freedom. Marcus Aurelius, suffering through illness and endless wars, reminded himself that pain was not evil. He said, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. And this you have the power to revoke at any moment. The sensation may hurt, but the judgment, that is yours to command. The truth is brutal. Pain will come. You cannot negotiate with it. You cannot escape it, and you cannot buy your way out of it. But here lies your power. While you cannot choose whether pain exists, you can always choose how to meet it. You can face it as a coward, collapsing and complaining. Or you can face it as a Stoic, calm and unyielding, turning agony into strength. Pain is unavoidable, but so is growth, if you have the courage to endure. Every second of your life is a second you will never see again. Right now, as you listen to these words, your life is shrinking. Time is not something you own. It is not something you can store away for later. It is a current, always moving, always flowing, carrying you toward the end. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself constantly, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This wasn't morbid, it was clarity. He knew death was not some distant event at the edge of old age. Death was close. Death was possible at any moment, and that knowledge sharpened his sense of urgency. Seneca wrote that it is not that we have a short life, but that we waste so much of it. We waste it on trivial pursuits, petty arguments, endless distractions. We live as though we have an endless supply of tomorrows, and yet tomorrow is never guaranteed. The greatest thief of your life is not death, it is delay. Think about it. How much of your life have you already wasted waiting for the right moment, waiting for courage, waiting for opportunity, and all the while time was moving, quietly, mercilessly, irreversibly. The Stoics used the phrase memento mori, remember that you must die. This was not meant to paralyze, but to awaken, because when you remember death, you finally start to live. You stop postponing the things that matter. You stop chasing meaningless pleasures. You stop living on autopilot. You realize this moment, right now, is all you truly have. Every breath is borrowed. Every sunrise is a gift. Every conversation could be your last. The man who understands this lives with fire in his heart. The man who ignores it drifts through life as if it were endless, only to wake up one day with nothing left but regret. Time is slipping away, faster than you think. Stop wasting it. Stop waiting. Stop living as though you are immortal, because one day soon you won't be. Look around you. Most people live chained to cravings they can't control. They chase wealth as if it will grant them immortality. They lust for pleasure as if it will quiet the emptiness inside. They beg for approval as if the opinions of others could define their worth. But no matter how much they consume, the hunger only grows. The Stoics saw this clearly. They taught that desire, left unchecked, makes you a prisoner. Epictetus said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control, and what lies more beyond our control than the endless whims of desire? Every time you give in, you hand the keys of your soul to something outside yourself." Marcus Aurelius warned himself daily not to become like the crowd, grasping, restless, dissatisfied. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The man who learns to govern his desires is the only man who is truly free." Seneca compared desire to an open wound. The more you scratch, the worse it becomes. Pleasure is never permanent. The meal ends, the applause fades, the lover leaves, and then the hunger returns, fiercer than before. This is the cycle of slavery. But the Stoic breaks the chain. He trains himself to want less, to be content with little, to draw his strength not from fortune, but from within, because the less you crave, the less power the world has over you. The man who needs nothing cannot be bribed, cannot be seduced, cannot be broken. Most people will live and die as slaves, enslaved by money, by lust, by vanity, by the opinions of others. Do not be like them. Learn to master your desires before they master you, because the man who conquers himself is greater than the man who conquers the world. Most men walk through life with a false sense of strength. They believe they are disciplined until temptation whispers. They believe they are resilient until hardship crushes them. They believe they are wise until pride exposes their ignorance. The truth is, you do not know the depth of your strength until life puts it to the test. And when that test comes, most people fail. Epictetus reminded his students that philosophy is not just words, it is practice. Anyone can talk about virtue when life is easy. Anyone can speak of courage when the sun is shining. But what happens when suffering strikes? What happens when you lose what you love? What happens when everything falls apart? That is when your real character is revealed. Marcus Aurelius knew this as well. He wrote, "Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace." But welcoming hardship is not easy. It demands strength, and most of us have far less of it than we pretend. Seneca warned against arrogance, reminding us that adversity strips away illusion. The man who boasts of his endurance often trembles when pain arrives. The man who believes he is virtuous often caves when desire calls. The man who swears he is strong often collapses under the weight of loss. Life reveals us, and the revelation is almost always humbling. But here is the gift hidden in the brutality. Weakness is not final. It is a signal. It shows you where you must train, where you must harden, where you must grow. A man who avoids difficulty never discovers his true strength. A man who embraces trial finds out what he is made of and finds out how to become more. You are weaker than you think. Accept that. Let it humble you, and then use it as fuel. Seek out tests, not to prove yourself to others, but to sharpen yourself for life, because the day will come when life truly tries to break you. And if you have not prepared, it will succeed. It does not matter how tightly you hold on, how much you pray, or how loudly you beg. Everything you love will one day be taken from you. Your friends will drift away. Your parents will grow old. Your children, your lovers, your mentors, all of them will pass. Even your own body will betray you, weakening with time until it finally returns to the earth. Nothing and no one is yours forever. The Stoics confronted this truth directly, not to fall into despair, but to live more fully. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you kiss your son, whisper to yourself, 'He may not be here tomorrow.'" To many, this sounds cruel, but to Marcus, it was wisdom. By remembering the fragility of life, he did not take a single moment for granted. Seneca said, "He robs present ills of their power, who has already seen their coming." He meant that death and loss do not strike as hard when you have already trained your mind to accept them as part of the natural order. We are not promised permanence, we are only promised change. Epictetus taught his students a simple exercise. When you embrace your wife or your child, remember that you are embracing a mortal, not a possession. They belong to fate, not to you. Love them deeply, yes, but love them without clinging. Because clinging breeds suffering, but acceptance breeds peace. The brutal truth is this: you will lose everything you love. But that does not mean you should love less. It means you should love more, fiercely, honestly, gratefully, because you know it cannot last. To see someone as temporary is to finally see them clearly. And when they are gone, you will not curse life for stealing them. You will thank life for ever allowing you to share in their presence at all. Do not resist this truth. Let it shape you. Let it make you softer in the heart, but harder in the spirit. Because only the man who accepts loss without collapsing is truly free. You think you are in control. You think your plans will unfold as you designed them, that your hard work guarantees success, that your choices shape the outcome. But life laughs at your certainty. In truth, you control almost nothing. You cannot control the weather, the economy, the shifting of nations, or the hearts of other people. You cannot even control the beating of your own heart, or the breath that leaves your lungs. Marcus Aurelius faced this every day as emperor. He commanded armies, ruled over millions, and yet he knew how little power he truly had. Plagues swept through Rome. Enemies attacked from all sides. Betrayals festered within his own circle. He wrote to himself, not to boast of power, but to remind himself of humility. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Epictetus put it even more bluntly. He said that the man who seeks to control what does not belong to him will be miserable for life. The only true mastery is over your thoughts, your choices, your attitude. Everything else belongs to fate. Seneca compared life to sailing. You can adjust the sails, you can steer the rudder, but the wind and the waves are not yours to command. The man who curses the storm wastes his breath. The man who learns to navigate it reaches the shore. Here is the brutal truth. The more you try to control what lies beyond you, the more powerless you become. The man who obsesses over the opinions of others is their slave. The man who demands fortune treat him kindly is fortune's fool. But the man who turns inward, who governs his mind, his reactions, his principles, that man holds the only power worth having. Control is an illusion, but self-mastery is not. Give up the fantasy of ruling the world. Win instead the battle within your own soul, because when you rule yourself, no storm, no betrayal, no loss can ever dethrone you. One day, your name will vanish from every tongue. Your face will fade from every memory. The people who once loved you will be gone, and those who remain will have no trace of who you were. In time, your entire existence will be swallowed by the silence of history. Marcus Aurelius, emperor of Rome, ruler of the known world, wrote endlessly about this truth. He reminded himself that even the greatest men, the conquerors, the poets, the kings, were already dust. Their victories, their names, their monuments, gone or crumbling into ruins. All that you see, he wrote, will soon perish, and those who witness its perishing will soon perish too. If the memory of emperors cannot endure, what hope does an ordinary man have? Seneca echoed this with brutal clarity. He said that fame is nothing but smoke, reputation nothing but noise, and glory nothing but a moment's illusion. Even if you are remembered for 100 years, what then? The earth itself will one day burn out, and every record of your life will disappear. Epictetus taught that this is not cause for despair, it is cause for freedom. If you will be forgotten, then why waste your days chasing applause? Why live for the approval of people who themselves are temporary, fragile, and fading? Recognition cannot save you. Immortality cannot be found in memory. The truth is harsh. You will be forgotten. But within this truth lies liberation. Because when you accept it, you are no longer enslaved to legacy or fame. You are no longer trapped by the opinions of others. You begin to live for what is eternal, the strength of your character, the discipline of your mind, the virtue of your soul. You will be forgotten. But how you live now, in this moment, in the face of certain oblivion, that is what determines whether you live as a slave to illusion or as a free man who meets death with peace. All your struggles, all your victories, all your fears, every one of them ends at death's door. Nothing strips away illusion more brutally than the certainty that you will die. Wealth becomes meaningless. Status becomes empty. Desire becomes shallow. What once seemed urgent is revealed as trivial. Death reduces everything to its true weight. Marcus Aurelius whispered this truth to himself daily. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. He was not trying to terrify himself. He was sharpening himself. By remembering death, he cut away what was unworthy and focused only on what mattered: virtue, courage, truth. Seneca reminded us that death is not an evil. It is nature returning us to where we came from. He wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." Death is not the tragedy. The tragedy is living as if you had forever, only to reach the end and realize you never truly lived at all. Epictetus urged his students to rehearse death in their minds, not to grow dark, but to grow free. The man who makes peace with death no longer fears life. He no longer wastes time chasing empty things. He no longer bows to fear because he knows the worst has already been accepted. This is the final and most brutal Stoic truth. You will die. But if you accept this, not just with your mind, but with your soul, you unlock a freedom most men will never know, because only when you face death do you finally learn how to live. These are 12 brutal Stoic truths about life's challenges. They will not comfort you. They will not flatter you. But if you accept them, they will make you unbreakable. Life is suffering. Life is loss. Life is chaos. But within that chaos lies your chance to become strong, to rise above weakness, to live with honor, no matter what fate throws at you. Do not run from these truths. Embrace them. Live them. Become the kind of man who does not beg for an easier life, but who builds himself into someone capable of facing a hard one. Because in the end, the Stoics were not just philosophers, they were warriors of the soul. And if you have the courage to follow their path, then nothing, not injustice, not pain, not loss, not even death, will ever defeat you.